Have you ever wondered if there's beauty in the seemingly ordinary moments of life? What if the small, sometimes overlooked experiences, the ones that make us roll our eyes, groan in frustration, or simply sigh, were actually the building blocks of a truly extraordinary existence? Are you kidding me? Chronicles of an Ordinary Life by Lesley Crewe invites us to take a deep, often humorous look at the intricacies of the everyday, revealing the chaos, the comedy, and the unexpected wisdom that we can find within our own seemingly mundane lives. This book doesn't promise to solve the world's problems or offer life-altering advice. Instead, it does something much more profound. It invites us to laugh at ourselves, reflect on the quirks of life, and find solace in the fact that we're all just trying to figure it out. If you've ever thought that your life was a series of humorous missteps or felt that your journey didn't quite measure up to the glossy images of success you see on social media, then Lesley Crewe's storytelling will resonate deeply. In a world where we're constantly told to strive for greatness, to chase bigger dreams, and to hustle, are you kidding me? Throws us a lifeline in the form of ordinary, unapologetic self-reflection. With a narrative that swings between sharp wit and genuine emotion, Crewe walks us through a life that's filled with all the messiness and beauty that make us human. There's no sugarcoating here, just a candid, sometimes hilarious look at what it means to live a life that's just fine. Crewe's writing captures the true essence of what it means to be human, the imperfection, the humor, the unexpected lessons, and the unexpected heroes that emerge in our lives. Through her chronicles, we come to understand that the value of life is not measured in perfection but in the way we embrace and navigate the challenges, the absurdities, and the downright funny moments that we all share. Are you kidding me? Is more than just a collection of funny anecdotes. It's a celebration of what it means to live authentically, even when things don't go according to plan. From the chaos of family gatherings to the struggle of juggling a career, relationships, and a million other responsibilities, Crewe's stories speak to anyone who has ever felt like they were barely keeping it together. With a keen eye for the absurd and a talent for turning even the most ordinary of moments into rich, meaningful narratives, she challenges us to rethink how we view the ordinary parts of life. In the chapters of this book, you'll find humor and heart in equal measure. You'll laugh at the relatable mishaps and cringe at the awkward moments. But above all, you'll be reminded that it's the journey, with all its ups and downs, that truly shapes who we are. Are you kidding me? Is not just a book, it's a companion for anyone who has ever thought, if only someone would write about the messiness of life, or, I'm not sure I have it all together, but I know I'm not alone. In a world where the pursuit of perfection often leaves us feeling exhausted and disconnected, Lesley Crewe gives us permission to embrace our flaws and laugh at ourselves. So, sit back, relax, and let the chronicles of an ordinary life remind you that there's nothing ordinary about being human. Introduction to Lesley Crewe and the book. And are you kidding me? Chronicles of an Ordinary Life. Lesley Crewe embarks on an unfiltered, candid, and deeply personal journey through the highs and lows of what she deems an ordinary life. The title itself sets the tone. There's humor, rawness, and a sense of not taking things too seriously, even in moments of intensity. The author takes readers on a reflective trip through life's unexpected turns, showing that sometimes the most profound lessons come from the least expected places. Chapter 1. A Not-So-Fairy Tale Beginning. The first chapter introduces readers to Lesley's early years. Far from a fairy tale beginning, it's one of chaos, humor, and relatability. Crewe recounts her childhood experiences with such authenticity that readers can't help but laugh and empathize. From quirky family dynamics to messy school situations, Crewe highlights the beauty in the messiness of life. She shares anecdotes about growing up in a seemingly typical household, but also reveals the unique quirks that set her life apart. One of the main takeaways from this chapter is how ordinary experiences can be extraordinary when seen from a different perspective. Crewe introduces us to her family, the challenges of being a middle child, and the nuances of sibling rivalry, all told with an ironic wit that shows her ability to find humor in even the most frustrating moments. As the chapter closes, we see Crewe wrestling with the expectations of society and her parents about what success looks like. She hints at her growing discomfort with conventional life paths, setting the stage for her later life lessons. Chapter 2: The College Conundrum. In this chapter, Crewe takes readers to the pivotal years of her college life, where confusion, discovery, and growth take center stage. She talks about the contrast between her youthful ambition and the reality of higher education. College, for Crewe, wasn't the transformative experience it was often portrayed as in movies. Instead, it was a space for questioning, uncertainty, and trying to figure out who she really was. The narrative in this chapter is full of humorous anecdotes about fitting in, dating disasters, and the unpredictable nature of being a student. Crewe's experiences serve as a reminder that everyone's college journey is different. It's a phase of life that's often filled with trial and error. But as always, Crewe finds a way to inject humor into her self-discovery process, making her journey both entertaining and deeply human. She spends a good portion of the chapter poking fun at the pressure to have it all figured out by graduation. The tension between expectation and reality is palpable, and it's in this gap where Crewe finds her voice, albeit in fits and starts. The chapter ends with a crucial lesson. Sometimes you have to stumble to find the direction that suits you best. She challenges the notion of a perfect path, encouraging readers to embrace the process, not just the outcome. Chapter 3: Entering the Workforce. The Illusion of Success. Now in her 20s, Crewe enters the workforce, filled with both enthusiasm and uncertainty. The third chapter of the book focuses on the early years of her career, as she faces the confusion of what it means to make it in the real world. This chapter introduces the reader to Lesley's adventures in the corporate world, where she quickly realizes that work isn't always glamorous, and success doesn't come in the form of a title or a paycheck alone. Crewe shares humorous, and at times painful, stories of her first job, awkward interactions with coworkers, and the realities of corporate life that no one ever warns you about. There's a particular focus on the imposter syndrome she felt early on, as she struggled with self-doubt, questioning her ability to meet expectations. What's particularly striking in this chapter is how Crewe reflects on the discrepancy between her youthful ideals and the realities of adulthood. The expectations she had about a successful career in her early 20s collide with the complexities of balancing work, relationships, and personal happiness. She learns that success isn't always linear and doesn't always fit the mold society or even her own younger self had envisioned. Her struggles in the workforce, coupled with her ongoing self-reflection, make this chapter an exploration of personal growth, a theme that runs throughout the book. Chapter 4: Love, Loss, and Learning the Hard Way. Lesley Crewe doesn't shy away from the more serious parts of life, and in Chapter 4, she delves into her romantic relationships. The narrative takes on a more reflective tone here, as she recalls the joy and heartache that comes with love. She opens up about her early experiences with relationships, both the thrill of infatuation and the pain of heartbreak. Through her stories, Crewe illustrates the universal truth that love isn't always as simple or as straightforward as we hope. This chapter is filled with moments of vulnerability. One of the most touching stories she shares is about her first major heartbreak, the kind that makes you question everything. But it's through this loss that Crewe begins to understand herself better. She uses humor to lighten the heaviness of heartbreak, but she's also deeply honest about how it shaped her worldview. Lesley reflects on how love can both build us up and tear us down, but it also teaches us important lessons about what we want and what we deserve in a partner. The chapter ends on a hopeful note, with Crewe embracing the idea that love, in all its forms, is a journey rather than a destination. Chapter 5: The Quest for Meaning, Searching for Purpose. In Chapter 5, Lesley shifts her focus from romantic love to the search for purpose. What's the point of all this? She asks, as she contemplates her life's trajectory. This chapter is where Crewe starts to question the choices she's made, from her career path to her relationships. She confesses her desire for something more than the conventional life, realizing that the notion of success she had been chasing all along felt hollow. She shares the moments when she felt most alive, most true to herself, which weren't the successful moments as defined by society, but the quieter, more personal ones. These revelations are profound as they reveal Crewe's struggle to reconcile her inner desires with the world's expectations. It's a relatable theme that many of us grapple with, wanting to live an authentic life, but being held back by external pressures. This chapter has an introspective feel as Crewe reflects on what it means to live with purpose and how to define what truly matters. She doesn't offer easy answers, but instead encourages readers to continue searching and to trust that the process itself will lead them to something greater than they can imagine. Chapter 6. Embracing the Unpredictability of Life. Crewe's reflections take on an even more honest tone in Chapter 6, where she talks about the unpredictability of life. She touches on the challenges and surprises that have come her way, often in the form of unexpected changes that disrupted her carefully laid plans. Whether it was a career shift, a family crisis, or a life decision that took her off course, Crewe learns to embrace the idea that life will not always go according to plan, and that's okay. One of the most poignant stories she shares in this chapter is about a sudden and drastic change in her personal life that left her questioning everything. But it's in this moment of uncertainty that Crewe begins to realize the value of resilience. Through trial and error, she starts to learn how to embrace life's unpredictability, finding solace in the belief that things will work out, even if they don't happen in the way she imagined. This chapter underscores a major theme of the book: acceptance. Lesley Crewe's journey isn't about controlling life's narrative, but about learning to roll with the punches and finding peace in the chaos. She shares practical advice for dealing with setbacks, and the tone throughout is uplifting, encouraging readers to embrace change rather than fear it. Chapter 7. Lessons from the Rearview Mirror. By the time Chapter 7 rolls around, Lesley has accumulated a wealth of life experiences that she's eager to share with her readers. This chapter feels like a culmination of the lessons learned over the course of her journey. It's the point in the book where the younger, more uncertain Lesley reflects back on everything she's been through and acknowledges how far she's come. She talks about the importance of perspective, how looking back at past challenges and triumphs can give us the insight we need to navigate the present. There's a deep sense of gratitude that permeates this chapter, as Crewe expresses appreciation for the lessons she's learned, even when they were hard. She wraps up the book by reinforcing the idea that life is a constant evolution. The woman she was in the early chapters of the book is not the same woman she is now. This final chapter is a testament to the power of self-reflection, growth, and embracing one's authentic self. Chapter 8. The Turning Point: Finding Strength in Adversity. In Chapter 8, the narrative takes a shift as Lesley faces one of the most difficult moments in her life. This chapter is a turning point for her, as she faces personal challenges that threaten to unravel everything she thought she knew about herself. Crewe reflects on a major setback that forces her to confront her vulnerability head-on. It's a pivotal chapter, one that brings vulnerability and growth into sharp focus. Lesley takes readers through the emotional and physical toll this challenging period had on her. She's unflinchingly honest about her struggles with fear, uncertainty, and self-doubt, offering readers a raw look into her mental and emotional state. However, in the midst of this turmoil, she also finds moments of clarity and resilience. This chapter highlights the often overlooked strength that can arise when one is forced to face adversity. Through sheer grit and determination, Crewe begins to rebuild, piece by piece. The chapter showcases the importance of perseverance in the face of hardship and how it's not the struggle that defines us, but the way we rise from it. It's a powerful reminder that while life will throw curveballs, Our ability to bounce back is what shapes our ultimate success. There's an almost cathartic quality to this chapter, where readers can't help but feel a sense of pride for the author's journey, even though it's clear that the road ahead will still have its ups and downs. Chapter 9. The Unlikely Mentor, Finding Wisdom in Unlikely Places. Lesley's journey takes a fascinating turn in Chapter 9, where she encounters an unexpected mentor who becomes a guiding force in her life. This chapter is one of the most heartwarming and insightful in the book. Through an unlikely relationship, Crewe learns invaluable lessons that push her to see the world differently. The mentor figure in this chapter isn't a polished, high-powered professional, but rather someone with life experience who understands the deeper meaning behind everyday struggles. Lesley recounts her interactions with this mentor, showcasing how their wisdom challenges her preconceptions and opens her eyes to new perspectives. This is a chapter about learning that mentorship doesn't always come from the expected places. Sometimes, it's the ordinary, imperfect people around us who can offer the most profound advice. Crewe reveals the lessons she learned about patience, empathy, and the importance of humility. The chapter resonates with readers because it shows how we all have something valuable to offer, regardless of our circumstances or background. Lesley's openness to learning from those around her, especially those who are not necessarily experts in the conventional sense, is a powerful lesson about community and the value of personal growth. Chapter 10. The Power of Letting Go, Embracing Change and Release. By Chapter 10, Lesley has reached another critical juncture in her life. This chapter explores the power of letting go, of expectations, old habits, and limiting beliefs that have held her back. It's a chapter about transformation and learning to embrace change, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. Lesley begins by recounting the emotional weight she carried from years of trying to control every aspect of her life. She talks about the toll that constant striving took on her mental and physical health. As she recounts a key turning point where she decided to let go of the need for perfection and control, it's clear that she's on the verge of something big. She shares her journey of self-acceptance, which is transformative in itself. By choosing to let go of toxic relationships, unrealistic expectations, and the pressure to meet society's standards of success, Lesley finds a new sense of peace. The chapter is both philosophical and practical, offering real-world advice on how to begin the process of releasing what no longer serves you. Lesley emphasizes that letting go isn't about giving up, but rather about creating space for new opportunities and growth. For many readers, this chapter feels like a breath of fresh air, reminding them that they don't need to hold on to everything. Sometimes, freedom lies in release. Chapter 11. Finding Humor in the Hard Times. Chapter 11 is one of the most amusing and lighthearted chapters in the book. Lesley discusses how humor became one of her most important survival tools throughout her life, especially during difficult or stressful times. She shares stories of how laughter, even in the most challenging circumstances, helped her cope with difficult emotions and kept her grounded. This chapter is filled with hilarious anecdotes from Crewe's life, from awkward social situations to embarrassing personal mishaps. She finds a way to laugh at herself and encourages readers to do the same. She explains that humor isn't just about making light of a situation. It's about creating space for joy and connection, even in moments of pain or disappointment. Through her personal stories, Lesley reminds readers that it's okay to not have everything figured out and that it's okay to fail. Laughter becomes a healing tool in this chapter, a reminder that sometimes the best way to face life's challenges is with a smile, even if it's a little wobbly. The chapter brings a sense of levity to the book, offering a perfect balance to some of the more serious and reflective moments. Chapter 12. Building a Life on Your Own Terms. Chapter 12 delves into the idea of living authentically and building a life that aligns with your true values. Crewe reflects on how her previous struggles, setbacks, and revelations have led her to a place of greater self-awareness. This chapter is about the importance of taking ownership of your life and designing a future that is not dictated by external pressures or societal expectations. Lesley shares how she began to actively reshape her career, relationships, and personal goals, prioritizing her well-being and happiness above traditional notions of success. She offers practical tips on how to start living life on your own terms, from setting boundaries to choosing meaningful work and relationships that nourish the soul. One of the most profound takeaways from this chapter is the idea that living authentically requires courage. Courage to let go of what's comfortable and embrace the unknown. Lesley urges readers to trust themselves, own their decisions, and take control of the narrative of their lives. This chapter is a call to action for those who may feel stuck or pressured by society to conform. Chapter 13. Finding Peace in the Present Moment. In Chapter 13, Lesley explores the concept of mindfulness and the importance of being present in the moment. She shares how, after years of rushing through life and constantly planning for the future, she learned the profound value of just being. This chapter emphasizes the power of stillness, silence, and connecting to the present moment without worrying about what's next. Lesley reveals how practicing mindfulness has helped her find peace and clarity amidst life's chaos. She talks about the simple joys of being fully engaged in the present, whether it's enjoying a cup of coffee, having a meaningful conversation, or simply breathing. For Crewe, mindfulness has become a tool for managing anxiety and creating a more balanced life. The chapter is filled with gentle wisdom and practical advice for incorporating mindfulness into everyday life. It's about slowing down and learning to appreciate the small moments rather than constantly chasing the next big thing. Lesley's message is clear. Peace is found in the present, and the key to a fulfilling life lies in cultivating a deep connection with the here and now. Chapter 14. The Road Ahead, Living with Hope and Purpose. In the final chapter, Lesley reflects on the road that lies ahead. She acknowledges that life is still full of uncertainty, but she now faces it with hope, resilience, and purpose. This chapter is a culmination of everything Lesley has learned throughout the book, from embracing adversity to finding joy in the small moments. Lesley talks about the importance of continuing to grow and evolve, even as life throws challenges her way. She shares her commitment to living a life that is true to herself and to never settling for mediocrity or conformity. The chapter ends on an optimistic note, reminding readers that the journey of life is ongoing and the most important thing is to live with hope and purpose, regardless of what the future holds. Lesley's reflections in this chapter are filled with gratitude, wisdom, and a renewed sense of possibility. She encourages readers to take control of their lives and to continue seeking meaning in every aspect of their journey. Conclusion: embracing the ordinary, celebrating the extraordinary. In Are You Kidding Me? Chronicles of an Ordinary Life, Lesley Crewe delivers a refreshing and candid memoir that resonates with anyone who has ever felt the weight of life's struggles, joys, and the unpredictability that comes with simply being human. The book captures the essence of ordinary moments, those moments that, at first glance, might seem insignificant but, when pieced together, form the tapestry of a life well lived. Crewe's narrative voice is raw, authentic, and unfiltered, drawing readers into her world with a blend of humor, vulnerability, and insight. Her stories are relatable, and they illuminate the common threads that bind all of us together. Whether recounting the ups and downs of family life, the bittersweet process of growing older, or the complex dance of navigating relationships, Crewe's storytelling invites us to reflect on our own experiences, no matter how simple or extraordinary they may seem. The beauty of this memoir lies not in the grandiosity of its events, but in the relatability and depth Crewe brings to everyday life. In a world often preoccupied with the spectacular and the exceptional, Are You Kidding Me? Reminds us that it is the seemingly mundane moments, the shared laughter, the quiet struggles, the unnoticed triumphs, that shape the people we become. Crewe finds humor in the chaos and grace in the imperfections, offering a poignant reminder that life doesn't need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. As the book draws to a close, Crewe reflects on the universal journey of life, the constant ebb and flow of experiences that shape us, challenge us, and ultimately make us who we are. The final chapters are not a neat resolution, but rather an invitation to embrace life as it comes, with all its flaws, surprises, and beauty. There's an underlying message of acceptance of oneself, of others, and of the unpredictable nature of existence. Crewe's reflections on aging, relationships, and the passage of time feel especially poignant. She writes about the moments when we feel most vulnerable and uncertain, and yet, in those moments, we often find our truest selves. Her experiences with family and friendship reveal the importance of connection and support, and how these relationships, with all their complexities, are a vital part of what makes life worthwhile. As readers, we come to understand that while we cannot control the unfolding of events in our lives, we can control how we respond to them, how we grow from them, and how we choose to embrace life, flaws and all. The book closes with a sense of closure, not in the sense of having reached a final destination, but in the realization that life is an ongoing journey, one that is constantly unfolding, filled with new discoveries and opportunities for growth. Crewe's final words leave us with a sense of hope and a reminder that it's the journey, not the destination, that truly matters. The ordinary moments, when viewed through a lens of humor, grace, and perspective, become extraordinary in their own right. And are you kidding me? Chronicles of an Ordinary Life, Lesley Crewe challenges the reader to reconsider what makes life meaningful. It's not the grand achievements or the flawless moments that define us, but rather the messy, imperfect, and sometimes hilarious moments of being human. The book encourages us to laugh at ourselves, to accept the unpredictability of life, and to cherish the relationships and moments that make our lives truly extraordinary. Ultimately, Crewe's memoir is a celebration of the ordinary. It is a reminder that, in the end, it's not the big things that matter most. It's the small things, the everyday moments, the simple joys, and the messy, beautiful process of living that truly define a life well lived. The book invites readers to appreciate the richness of their own stories and to find meaning in the chaos, humor in the struggle, and beauty in the ordinary. In doing so, Lesley Crewe shows us that perhaps, after all, life is exactly what it should be, extraordinary in its ordinariness. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Happy learning!